What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. This time I'm going to be talking about the recent news that's actually come out that suggests that the Miami Heat are currently one of the biggest teams right now interested in Christian Wood. The report currently states that the Heat have been talking to the Rockets about a trade involving Christian Wood, and this is all being reported by Kelly Iko. Now, I actually think this is a really weird one for, I think, both teams. I've kind of stated this before where I don't see why the Houston Rockets would need to move on from Christian Wood, just based on the fact that, let's be honest here, even the Rockets fans know this, they're not exactly the greatest team out there. In fact, they're statistically like the third or fourth worst team in the NBA at this point. So, if you were to potentially trade your best player away, and some people might argue that he's not their best player, I still feel like it's consensus that he's top 3 on the team. I just don't think you need to necessarily trade him away, considering he is only 26, he will be entering his prime, and I do still think he actually is a really solid player for this team. Now, the issue I think that kind of lies with Christian Wood right now is he a center or is he a power forward? Because when he does play that center position, we know that he gets scored on so heavily because he's only 6'9", and he already is a player that just doesn't really try, really too much defensively. He's not an efficient defender. It's just how it is at this point. But then when he plays power forward, he doesn't seem fast enough for the position necessarily, and he can't really keep up and guard players like, Tobias Harris, etc., who play at that power forward position. So, again, even like a Giannis, or if LeBron's playing a power forward, or even Evan Mobley for that point, he's just not going to be able to guard any of those players. There's also an issue where it looks like they do need to maybe change something up, because again, I think at the start of the season, he played center. Like, some games he'll play really well at center, some games he'll play really well at power forward, but then he just can't stay consistent at either of the positions, and I'll talk about why I think he actually would be good for the Miami Heat later on. But I do believe that the Houston Rockets may need to make a little bit of a change, because clearly something isn't working right now. Kevin Porter Jr., I just like to point out, Rockets fans have been pretty vocal about this, and he, has picked his game up a little bit more recently, but considering this guy last year averaged 16.5 points per game, 6.5 assists, on pretty good efficiency. It's not the greatest, but it's decent. To fall to 13 points per game this year, 6 assists, is really, really bad. He's taken a major step back in his career, and again, that 6 assists was legitimately 5 assists per game a week or so ago, and he was averaging 4 turnovers per game as well. So for nearly every assist at that point, he was averaging a turnover. I don't know what Kevin Porter Jr.'s kind of future is in this league. In my opinion, I think they need to desperately guard a point guard and then move Kevin Porter Jr. over to the shooting guard. The issue is, if you do that, then you got Jalen Green at the small forward right now, and he's already been terrible defensively at that shooting guard position, and you still got Christian Wood in that starting lineup. The defense is absolutely terrible. That's one of the reasons I've been saying for a while. I think the Rockets need to go out and get Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons would be so perfect for them. They desperately need playmaking, rebounding, height, and defense, and Ben Simmons brings all 4 of them in. Again, that might be a different topic for a different video, but they need to make some moves. And the question is now, is Christian Wood the guy that they move out? Because, hey, maybe you could have Kevin Porter Jr. at the 2 and Jalen Green at the 3. Look, Jalen Green's only going to get better as a defender because he can't get any worse than what he is now. Plus, if they were to maybe draft a defensive point guard that can, still shoot the ball, that would be good. And then if they can finally trade for Ben Simmons, which hasn't happened yet, I don't know why they're taking so long on that. They need to pull the trigger. Or even just trade for a defensive power forward or something like that. Or even a defensive center. Then you're really going to be alright. Realistically, a perfect dude for their team right now. I always talk about, players can guard 1 through 5 that are really good defenders, and I always suggest Ben Simmons. But you look at Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's, he can guard the 4 and the 5 and the 3, realistically. Can switch on the 1 and the 2 with no problems. Great defender. Again, I wonder if Rockets do regret drafting Jalen Green over Mobley, like, because Mobley's the clear better player. So it is a really tough one, but again, as I said, maybe they do need to maybe look to make a change, and is that change going to be to trading Christian Wood? Could Christian Wood go to the Miami Heat, and would he work? And here's why that actually would be perfect, I think, for the Miami Heat, why he would actually make a whole lot of sense for them. First of all, the Miami Heat have a situation right now where I think it could actually work really well in Christian Wood's favor. As I mentioned earlier, Christian Wood has a really bad issue where some games he'll be good at guarding the power forward position, like if he's, maybe playing, who even knows, like a dude like Al Horford or something at that power forward position, then he'll usually do well because he won't have to, be extremely fast to keep up with a player like that. And even like a dude like Kevin Love at that power forward position, right? But then there's other nights where he can't do it. Then there's nights he can guard the center, but nights where he can't. I think on the Miami Heat, you have a lot of flexibility because if they were to partner him with a dude like Bam Adebayo, let's just say that he can't guard the power forward that night. Then you just send, like, let's just say it's against Giannis or someone like that, right? If Christian Wood can't guard Giannis, then you just send, Bam Adebayo to go do that job. Then Christian Wood can go do the Bobby Portis job. The duo would be absolutely insane together because I think partnering him up with Bam gives him so much flexibility to do what he really, really wants. Not just that, he would make a lot of sense, for this team, and I think would be a huge upgrade over a dude like Duncan Robinson, who hasn't been that good this year. Duncan Robinson is averaging 12 and 3 on 36.5% from 3. Just not great numbers. Is down from last year where he averaged, I think, 40% from 3 on less possessions, 13 points per game. Again, when we look at it like this, Duncan Robinson could also be an interesting player for, for the Houston Rockets as well. As I still think, even though the main thing that they need to go out and get is defense, they don't necessarily have that catch and shoot guy in the rotation at all. Like, I think they brought Tice in to maybe help out with some interior defense and a catch and shoot dude on the perimeter. Didn't really happen. They're going to look to trade him. Eric Gordon, it looks like they're going to trade him because he's got heaps of value. And he's kind of their catch and shoot guy now. If you get rid of Eric Gordon, there's really no, catch and shoot dude on this team. And I think bringing in a dude like Duncan Robinson to come off your bench and, play around 25 minutes per game and maybe score you 13 points per game on 40% from 3 will help you a lot long term. But that's not going to be the prize of the trade. I think the prize would be getting a first round pick and another young player in return. I have a feeling the Miami Heat would finally look to part ways with a dude potentially like KZ Okapala, who just hasn't really done much in the Miami Heat outfit. Like, he's only averaging 12 minutes per game and 3.5 points. But there have been so many scouts before that have said that KZ Okapala actually has a lot more worth than what people think, because he's shown really more signs than a lot of players in preseason and stuff that he could be a star. And I think if the Miami Heat were to get a really solid role player, a first round pick back, and to change the scenery, and a young dude like KZ Okapala in for a dude like Christian Wood, again, you change the scenery, you get rid of Christian Wood, who I don't think really wants to be there now, and it just makes a whole lot of sense. Then if you're the Miami Heat starting 5 then becomes pretty insane. You got Kyle Lowry at that point guard position, who is averaging 8 assists per game this year, which is crazy. Then you'd start Tyler Hero at the shooting guard, obviously, who's 39% from 3, averaging 21 points. Jimmy Butler at that 3. And then Christian Wood at the 4, where his scoring would probably go down to about 13 or so per game, 13 to 14. But again, I can still think he can average like the, 40% from 3 or so per game. Plus, he gives the Miami Heat a lot more height, as the Heat only have a couple of big men. They've only got Bam, Dwayne Dedmon, and that's pretty much their only two, really tall players. Again, PJ Tucker is pretty short for the power forward position, 6'5". Markieff Morris plays a bit of backup 4 as well, 6'7". They're a pretty short, team, so bringing in another dude like Christian Wood would be really good. And then that starting 5 legitimately has everything. Elite defense in Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and, Bam Adebayo, plus terrific shooting out of Christian Wood and Tyler Hero that can all move the ball really well. I think it would make a lot of sense for them. I think it's actually a perfect trade for the Miami Heat. And then the Houston Rockets, I also think it's a really good trade for them, because even though Rockets fans might say, we're not actually getting too much here, that is a lie, because that first round pick will still be a decent one. Look, let's just say it's next year's, it could be like pick 25 to 30. Still a solid pick. While KZ Okapala, imagine if he actually gets things going and starts averaging, 11 points or so plus per game for this team, and adds some defense, which we know we can do. Plus a really solid role player that the reason he was offered $20 million a season is because so many teams wanted him in Duncan Robinson. You realistically just add in a heaps of shooting, another pick, and another young player. The only thing you got to do then is, again, go get more height, go get some more defense, go get some more playmaking, and they can do that in the draft and free agency. Realistically, you draft the point guard that can potentially, again, play make and, defend while also being a good shooter. Doesn't need to be a shot creator. I'm sure there'll be some guy out there, and then you can go out and get, finally sign a center. I'm sure, again, there's a young center out there in free agency that is a good defender, good interior defender, similar to a Jarrett Allen type dude, that I think you'll be set, especially if you're a Rockets fan. So again, there's a lot to kind of look at here. I think it's a win-win trade for both teams if they can maybe get something to go down. Of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all latest NBA content and NBA news. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/long channels. Let me know down below what are your thoughts and opinions on this. Do you guys think the Miami Heat should go out and get Christian Wood? Do you guys think the Rockets should maybe trade him away? Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.